Hi and welcome. This is Byron speaking, and I'm today going to do a little side project, which seems like fun, while doing other things. Sometimes I have to just, loosen up a bit and do something that seems more interesting to me than the stuff I usually have to do. So this is why I actually do this. So the terminal download application. And last time I was preparing the project just to be sure the libcurl is available on all platforms. This was just to show how CMake works, how build system works, how libraries work, and static versus dynamic linking, all these things. So that's all taken care for. We don't have to deal with that anymore. We can just use libcurl, at least in the branch that I'm in now, which is not master, which is CMake and libcurl. Awesome. So actually it should still be the same. And, it seemed intriguing to me to just implement this because look at that. So that's the main function here, the main implementation. We already initialized curl, and that's something I've recently added just for the completeness. We clean it up. So in C libraries, as I said last time, you usually have to initialize some sort of state. The state is important because that way you can have multiple different states. And for instance, you have multi-threading going on. So if a library ever uses global state, it's a bad thing, bad design. So they usually don't do that. But what I forgot to say last time is that you also have to clean it up. You have to destroy the state. You have to release the resources associated with it. And last time I just didn't do that. But where there is an init, there has to be a cleanup or a destroy or something that shuts it down in one way or another. So I'm calling this now. And everything in between I'm not doing. But I want to. I really want to. I just want to see how, and you can basically now watch how I would approach to use a library that I've never used before. I've really have no idea. And because it's kind of a fun project and it should be done in a minute or so, probably it takes longer, but that's my goal. I would just not read any documentation and have a look at, Unfortunately, I wanted to explore the curl API by using auto-completion here. But as you can see, there is, maybe it's that. Maybe I want to do that. I don't know. But I have no idea. I probably have to do several calls to do that. Yeah, and in the end, I might be faster to just read a tutorial or something that just shows you the general ideas of the curl API, and that's just what I'm going to do. Alternatively, of course, I could check the curl program and see how the curl program does it. The curl command line program, which works like so. I mean, if I have a look at the README file, for instance, get the raw URL. If you do curl and then the raw URL will just print it to std out. And this is something I would like to do myself. I just print it to std out and all the file handling is done via the shell, so I can redirect this to anywhere. And that's kind of my version of the program that I find, very Linuxy and very comfortable to use still. So that's curl. So I could look at the curl source code, obviously, but then it would be like copy pasting. I would be very tempted to just take out the respective lines. So let's not do that. Instead, we shall for fetch URL. We shall see what the internet tells us. Source code examples. Simple HTTP shows how to get a remote web page in only 4 libcurl function calls. Well, it's kind of like seeing how it's done, I guess. Curl easy init, easy cleanup. That's what we have. All right, we set an option here. Okay, that's kind of, so the curl contains the state as I was thinking, and we are setting it up for a certain operation, and then we just say do it, basically, and get a result. Okay, that's how the API works. That's interesting. Set opt. That's an interesting way to do it. But yeah, why not? It's kind of setting a dictionary here, right? Kind of. That's the way how it seems to me. In Python, it would probably be a dictionary that we fill up with values and then we pass it to the perform function here. But yeah, let's do it. Curl set easy, sorry, my brain, easy set opt. Yeah, why didn't it? Yeah, didn't really complete that, or I was just not getting it. The option and then any amount of arguments, that is interesting. And I would probably have to check the code, the return code, just to verify this really is working. Curl opt URL. Fine. It's probably good to have a separate namespace for this. And for now, I'm just copy pasting this in code here. If the return value is not curl OK, what was it? Curl OK, curly. Okay, that's the error codes then, curl OK. Then we return something like an error. Question is, can we also curl error, get the error, get info, get curl easy perform failed. Curl easy string error. There we go. There we go. Curl code. Okay, we didn't save it here unfortunately, but we shall do that. Well, let's do an printf. Print it to stdio. We might have, we have it already, fine. Because we imported stdio, we included that, I'm sorry. Sorry for that. Then we shall, what's this type? Curl code. Auto completion is not so fast here. I'm always thinking that I'm on the wrong track, because in Sublime it kind of pops up right away. Here it takes a moment. Maybe this can be changed. I'm probably less stupid than I look right now, because I'm just kind of relying on the IDE, and if it doesn't show me, then I'm, Sublime text like you thinking that I'm on the wrong track altogether. Because if Sublime text doesn't show it, it doesn't exist. I mean, at least in my head. So that's the result. We shall initialize it with curl e something like nothing, success, or okay. Yeah, we initialize it with okay, and then we assign it here. Now we have to, it's not pretty code, but I think that line will be much easier to read once we get this from the command line here, which we currently don't do. So then we can just print the error code here and be happy about ourselves. Then we set another option, which was curl up follow location 1. Okay, redirection following, fine, let's do this. Curl easy setup. There we go. Curl up follow location. True, a long. It once there and again. I mean, what I'm doing now is something that obviously they don't even do, because they don't expect an error to happen really. But I can tell you that in a program that wants to be production ready, you better check every return value. You better do that, even though it's annoying. But if it's annoying, then probably what you could also do is have your own little wrapper function that does what you want and does all the error printing and stuff like that, so that it's kind of a bit easier for you, so that you kind of save a few lines of otherwise repetitive code. Just saying. So it's always a matter of, first you kind of have ugly code that is a bit, that seems like a duplicate, and then you refactor it into individual functions to reduce the amount of duplication and make it easier to read. So that's usually what you, oh look, it's kind of the same line. I could have copied this. Yeah, like typing apparently, even though typing while talking is a terrible thing to do. Fine. Now, last but not least, now we have set the option, and finally we can perform our operation here. Res equals curl easy perform. Curl, if that is not curly okay, then we do what we always do, huh? And my question is, where does it put, what's the result now here? I mean, where does it output that guy? Oh, by the way, look at that. You know, I'm saying that, I'm testing for this actually. But here, this is something I don't like. I don't ever like that. You know, if you can't do shit without curl, why don't you just abort? You know, like I do. Look, oh, there's no curl. Let's just finish this up, shall we? Whereas they put everything in one, in a condition here, and thus in its own scope, and kind of increment the indentation level by 1, which makes code just harder to read with every indentation level. So, good rule of thumb: abort as early as possible, you know, and don't just nest conditions here as deep as they get. And I still would like to know how I can set up the output here. Probably by default it will just put it to std out or something. Unsupported protocol. Oh, no way. It's HTTPS. Oh, true. I took that out of my. Oh, look, I returned with error code 1, by the way. That's good. So that already works. I'm happy about that. Maybe we can have HTTP. You know, the libcurl I'm linking to here doesn't have HTTPS and libcrypt compiled in. Oh, look at that. Even though it looks a bit odd, you're trying to publish one? What? It gives me, I think it's a different one here. Maybe it wants to redirect me or something? I'm not sure. There isn't a GitHub page here. Okay, so I basically they don't provide non-encrypted access to the data anymore. That's okay. But as you can see, it outputs it to std out by default. And I'm wondering, can I possibly change that? Can I provide an option that changes that? I suppose so. Curl opt stream output file. Okay, I'm running out of options here. Buffer size, append. How can I change how can I redirect maybe? Read your protocols? No. It's interesting that everything I could come up with here in order to, you know, find an option that allows me to adjust where that stuff goes, you know, I don't find it. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's something else. I don't care because it does what I want out of the box. But still, and into a file. It also renames the file after successful transfer FTP upload. Simple FTP, blah, blah. Simple HTTPS. That's all right. I could write an open style emulation layer to easily make your program read URLs instead of local files. Yeah. That's all good. I just was hoping I could find something here that allows me to write a file. URL to file. I think that's the guy. So some more options. Write functions. Ah, there we go. Curl opt write data write function. Okay, nice. So that's the write data function, and this one will just write it to wherever it thinks it wants to write it. Awesome. Yeah, makes sense. Write data. And this void pointer seems to be a file, but why is that? Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but you know, that's kind of specific to this library. I mean, Ah, okay. That's the void pointer here. So you have to set the arguments separately that you want to provide. I mean, the one argument that there is that you want to provide to your function is kind of your own custom data. And in this case, it's an open file. And then this is the stuff you get from curl. So size, I don't know, num members, what? And a stream? That's interesting. It gets a stream. Is it? I mean, I have to stop this. I'm already out of time here. What's fwrite? It takes a file at the end, but I wouldn't know. So no, the first thing is an open, it should be, oh no, is that the data or what? Yeah, now I get it, fuck. So this pointer, I think that's the data we get. And that's the size of the data, and I don't know what that is. But it kind of fits nicely into this function. Size of the member, so I think it's like the amount of items that are at the pointer and then the size of each items. So it's basically this number multiplied by this number yields the amount of bytes that you want to write. And at the end you provide the file, the stream you want to write to. And this is basically our custom data here. So that's all provided by curl, by libcurl, and that's basically our open file here that we generate here. That's the one. All right, and that's how that goes. Good to know. I mean, I won't implement this, but what I will implement is some argument parsing. So let's get to work here. Our count, constant char pointer args, and we just allow one argument which is the URL. Sorry, I was thinking Python there for a moment. If argc is not 2, then say that please provide exactly one URL to print to standard output. All right, and not to forget to return. Well, it's kind of a, yeah, these curl errors, let's mark them with 3. That's an option error. Let's just say that's a perform error. It's always good to kind of code it, even though you should obviously specify this somewhere what these codes mean. Oh, curl initialization. So look here, curl errors are, yeah, anyway, I don't mind, even though you better stay consistent with your errors there. So this basically means that now the only argument that I'm interested in, oh, come on, is args1, and that's a constant char pointer, which is exactly what this guy wants. So if I execute this now, it will tell me, please provide exactly one thing here, and we shall not forget the new lines. The new lines are very important here. Forget them all the time. I guess this guy adds the new lines, even though I don't know really. Oh, it actually doesn't add the new lines. We had that before. Whoa, so what you really have to do is this one. Look at that. It's kind of cumbersome. You know, now definitely you want to have this in a function so that you just change it once and you're done. Like so. And well, not like so, but you know what I mean. You probably know what I mean. If not, it's all nonsense sometimes that I'm saying. So let's adjust the run settings here in order to have a file that we want to, you know, that may be one. Let's just print this. Yay! And that's the file we've just seen. Look at that. Beautiful. So that works indeed. So that's how to use libcurl, you know, from a I have no clue standpoint. But the internet always helps, Google always helps. But, you know, if in doubt, you have to read either some real life examples or some real life code, like the curl executable code, in order to learn it. Or, yeah, you know, you always have to do this, and you will never know everything. It's like, as long as you have your kind of style and know the programming language, I think that's the main thing. You have to know your language very well in order to be able to read it and to write good code. You have to stick to your rules always. And then learning a new API, a new library is just like, okay, let's find the manual here. Let's see how this is done. Let's get some examples. And then from there, you easily get an idea on how the thing is set up and how, you know, curl thinks, what the ideas are behind that. And then once you have your mental model set up for that, I think you are ready to go for whichever library you want to use. Lots of ifs here, huh? Not so pretty, but that's how it is sometimes. Life is not always pretty, I say. Okay, thanks for watching and have a good day.